Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark on from December 9th, or December 8th, jeez Louise, Steve, 2020. And I gotta say, big, huge surprise and a marked improvement for one of the regular segments on AEW Dark. Let's face it, AEW Dark, in many ways, is kind of a work in progress and transition. There is no way they can maintain this bullshit of on one YouTube show that gets 200,000 views tops eventually. That doesn't even happen as it's happening. That's something that happens over the course of a couple of days after it comes out. Usually only about 20,000 people are watching it as it's happening. To have 16 matches and a running time of 2 hours and 10 minutes, it's just not sustainable. Though Tony Khan is kind of go on record as saying, yeah, we got to do something about that. Maybe we'll split it up into two shows, whatnot. So in any case, this show, let's just go over it. For those of you who do not know, what I do is I tend to pick a performer of the week, and it's always an enhancement talent person, not the person that's going over. Most of the matches tend to be what we call enhancement matches or jobber matches, if you want to be an asshole about it. And I give 3 check marks, and I'm going to start doing it to segments as well, promos as well. So the 3 check mark system goes as such. Most of the matches are squash matches or enhancement matches. I'll give a check mark if the right person gets put over with a definitive finish. And that sometimes that does not happen, as impossible as that is to believe. We had one of our first 0 check mark matches last week. A second check mark if the person who is being put over or winning the match does so in convincing and authoritative fashion that makes them look like an imposing threat that could work on the main show and you wouldn't think twice. And then a third check mark if the person who is losing looks great in defeat, either because their opponent gives them some stuff to do and they look good, or if they do just such a stellar job of putting over the person doing their job correctly. Then you get 3 check marks. This was not, some people say they look forward to see if a show can pull off 3 check marks for every single match. Which has happened on 2 occasions. Keep in mind we're on, I believe, show 65. It's happened on 2 occasions where they've aced out. Now I'm going to start doing segments as well, meaning if there's a promo happening, you get 1 check mark for at least some discernible reason that you're cutting the promo comes across. 2, if your delivery of the promo is passably good. And 3, if the promo is something I think is a real asset or a segment or a promo that would have been worthy to put on Dynamite if they so chose. Makes sense? Let's hit it. Match number 1, Sunny Kiss over Baron Black. This is the best that Baron Black has looked. Let me repeat that. In fact, he may get performer of the show. Great job, Baron Black. I've never been blown away by him. This is the best he's looked. The more he seemed into it. Sunny Kiss, certainly a compelling performer, though not always the greatest worker, but here looks phenomenal. 3 check marks, wins with that split leg drop off of the ropes. Great stuff and really great to see. Really proud of Baron Black. Match number 2, Brian Cage over Danny Limelight. I'll say this. Brian Cage is going to get those 2 check marks. He's going to hit you with that motherfucking drill claw, and he's going to throw you around. But boy, Brian Cage, is he the best at making somebody else who's much less physically imposing as he is look good? Almost to a fault. But boy, when he gives Danny Limelight some offense, Danny Limelight looks fucking great doing it. 3 check marks. Nyla Rose with Vicky over Alex Garcia. Super violent. Nyla Rose takes advantage of her squash matches better than anybody. Super violent. The Vicky promo afterwards is annoying in the right way, and her most impassioned promo she has cut to date. Really great stuff all around. 3 check marks. Here's the main thing I wanted to talk about. This motherfucking waiting room show with Britt Baker. Up to now, it's been sort of like a funny one-off joke that felt like it lasted too long. This one, they actually structured it like a Cliff Notes truncated version of a late night show. It's like they got an hour and a half late night show in 5 minutes. So her opening monologue jokes, the one about Kenny Omega, I knew he was good on the mic, but, you know, because Kenny Omega hit Jon Moxley with the microphone to win the title. It was, and fucking Reba/Rebel laughing in Ed McMahon fashion to everything. It fucking worked. The way that they had their studio audience comprised of like a lot of the enhancement people wearing AEW masks. Fucking great. Dustin Rhodes and her interplaying with each other, making fun of each other. But Dustin Rhodes still managing to get his thing about I'm going to wrestle 10 going. Really stellar shit. But the biggest shock, her fucking musical guest, Marco Stunt, fucking killed. He was fucking great to the point where they better always have Marco Stunt do this. I am dead fucking serious. I think this is his in more than being part of the Jurassic Express and just being the one that everyone goes like, oh, he's the shitty one. This thing of playing music with Britt Baker, not only is he doing something really well that surprises you, but I feel like there's a good way to get in and out of him and getting into matches and little undercard feuds through this. I was fucking shocked at how much I liked it. Great fucking shit. Great shit. 3 check marks all the fucking way. God, Marco Stunt. I'm shocked. I'm just shocked how great that whole fucking thing went with Britt Baker, fucking Reba, and Dustin Rhodes being a great guest, and then the two of them like overly sparring with each other verbally. It was fucking fun. It advanced shit. It was so good. You could tell that I'm just over the moon. I will take this over any goddamn stupid fucking talk showy Miz TV bullshit or whatever that they do on any WWE show. And this is on Dark, folks, which is, again, they've experimented with this format. It hasn't been knocked down great for 2 or 3, but I think even they know that they hit a home run with this one, culminating with the Marco Stunt thing. And then they played it sort of straight up, I think was really smart as well. All right, moving on. Sorry, guys. You know how I get. Number 10 with Alan Angels at ringside beat Aaron Sorlo. I love the finish. You know, some of these guys, Dark is about finding what finish they're going to use. And I think the ripcord into the clothesline to the back of the head, but he did the ripcord from like the hammerlock position first. I think it works good. I think it works well. I'm going to give this 3 check marks. Aaron Sorlo always does a good job putting guys over. No exception here. And now we've set up 10. And the positioning of this match after Dustin Rhodes talks about, I'm going to wrestle 10, but then you show 10 being dominant. Really great. Small stuff, but again, it shows they're paying attention because sometimes Dark has seemed like it's just randomly thrown together. This one seems very deliberate on how they arrange things. We get a Young Bucks book ad. Great. Peter Avalon beating Louis Val, the Martinis match, and then he cuts a promo, which is bizarre, but it fits here on Dark. You have to be a beauty to face me, the Pretty Peter pageant provocation. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it gives us something to look forward to and rewards the regular viewers of Dark. Peter Avalon wins again. 3 check marks. Good job here. The Gun Club, it's Billy, Austin, and Colton. They beat Sean Dean, Ryzen, and Sean Maluda. Kudos to Sean Dean for being the guy who gets beat up for the most part. Did a great job there. Might be our performer of the week. Ryzen at one point kind of rallying the offense for the heel team. Great job. And Sean Maluda, pretty good, but definitely Ryzen and Sean Dean were doing the lion's share of the work on this one. And then Billy hits the Rakadrapa to Ryzen. And then we get an ad for the Bubbly. Oh, 3 check marks for the Gun Club thing. They are that's a really good spot for the Gun Club, especially if the rumor is they're going to have 6-man titles. That's a great spot for them to constantly go for those. Red Velvet defeated Danny Jordan. Let me say a couple things about this. Danny Jordan looks great. Clearly has lost weight. Clearly is feeling confident, in part because of that, and in part because she's just getting so used to running that gimmick. And her ring work was crisp. Red Velvet's was crisp. This was one of my favorite matches of this 16 match long. So to be in my top 2 or 3 really does mean something. It's really good. I love that running boot across the jaw by Red Velvet. I think it's a great finisher that she can kind of do to anybody. A lot of the women get caught up in doing these really complicated finishers where you're just like, I don't know if you're going to be able to execute this under different conditions. Red Velvet, Danny Jordan, great fucking job. 3 check marks. Jurassic Express, this incarnation is Marco and Luchasaurus, not with Jack. Oh, sorry. Defeated Falco and Mike Magnum, who were new. I'll say Falco and Mike Magnum. Maybe it was nerves. I don't know what it was. They seemed very disjointed. A lot of spots went really wonky. Even Luchasaurus, who's one of the best hot tags going, it just didn't look all that great. And then their finisher, where Luchasaurus does this kind of knee to the face thing, and then Marco hit this leg lariat to the back of. It just didn't look fucking good. What can I say? I'm going to give this one check mark because the right team got put over, but they didn't look good. And honestly, the enhancement talent did not look good in this one either. On next match, sorry, I paused and came back. So if it ever sounds a little disjointed, that's why. Brandon Cutler defeating Fuego del Sol. Brandon Cutler looks a little sharper and a little sharper every time he does these matches. The one thing I will say is Fuego del Sol took that gut buster finish really shitty. So I'm going to give this one 2 check marks. Ivelisse and Skylar Moore. This is the best that Skylar Moore has looked, and that new submission finisher from Ivelisse. Stick with that shit. So much better than running knee stuff and all of that. It looks great. It's very heelish. It looked the part. Good finish. Great job, Skylar Moore. 3 check marks here. Big Swole against Lindsay Snow. This thing was ugly. That roll-up thing into a crucifix pin for the finish. Big Swole still looks like she's looking for a finisher. The whole match felt really disjointed. A couple of not so great outings for Lindsay Snow. I think she's still trying to find her groove as an enhancement talent as opposed to being a star and being a bruiser. This was just not a good match chemistry-wise between the two of them. I'm going to say, honestly, I think this is no check marks because the finish didn't even look good. Oof, rough, right? Next one, TH2, Jack Evans and Angelico, who are taking on the Young Bucks on Dynamite, but they got VSK and Sothera Shun. That weird leg lock thing Angelico uses as a finisher is awesome. Great match, really good look, good outing by VSK and Sothera. They really did themselves a lot of favors here, and TH2 looks ready for the Bucks, which is what they need because they're a team that wins some, lose some kind of team, but they're looking strong here going in. Great match, 3 check marks. A little ad for the Young Bucks book. Now we got Diamante against Tesha Price. The Code Red was a little sloppy. Tesha Price also had trouble getting up a couple of times, but beyond that, the match was fine. I'm going to give it 3 check marks. All right, let's see if we can wrap this up. We got Shayna versus Freya States. Good, solid match. I thought a less clunky outing for Shayna this time. Sorry. That Tiger suplex looked great. I even liked the fact that the referee had to unfurl her because she was in such a bridge on the Tiger suplex. Super cool stuff. 3 check marks. The Acclaimed, Anthony Bounds and Max Caster. It is my favorite battle rap to date against Michael Nakazawa and John Cruz. The only knock I had on this match, because I think John Cruz is fucking great and did such a good job in this. And the Michael Nakazawa comedy stuff, if I got my head caught on the underwear and all that shit, whatever. That weird slam and that shitty top rope elbow for their finish is garbage. I am going to give this match 1 check mark. And then finally our main event, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. against the Dark Order of Colt Cabana and Alex Reynolds. Heart Attack Blockbuster. The Varsity Blondes appears like they've gotten it together. They're ready for their match with FTR. Really good shit. And Griff, dominant and awesome. Really great stuff from Griff Garrison in particular, I thought. And we had a Dustin promo to close the show. And then a Griff and Pillman promo where Griff and Pillman are definitely got to get on the same page on these promos. Griff cut his part of the promo and then at one point wanted to fist pound Pillman, who wasn't paying attention to him and talked way too long and sort of dominated. They're going to have to get on the same page. They're obviously going to be a team. They now have gear that matches and they're getting shots on Dynamite. They just got to... we need a chemistry thing with them, and I think they need to practice promos together. Beyond that, though, a pretty good AEW Dark. This has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling.